Ladies and gentlemen, we have another brand new episode of Marvel Studios' What If on our hands with episode 8 of season 1, What If Ultron Won. Another fantastic episode that's honestly on par with the Doctor Strange episode and the T'Challa episode. It was such a good episode because if you're like me and you've been waiting for the big crossover that's been building up over this season, what happened? Or it's about to happen because things are going down here like with Ultron Vision, with the Watcher, the Guardians of the Multiverse are being set up, and all of it is going down in next week's episode. And this episode from today just gets me so hyped for that because it's going to be absolutely insane. And we have so much to talk about here. So guys, of course, spoiler warning if you've not yet seen this episode because we are breaking it down in depth. But let's go ahead and get into this. So we start off the episode in the midst of basically the age of Ultron. It's post-apocalyptic world where we have Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton being the sole survivors. So we have a nice little introduction of those two battling some Ultron sentries, and you see things like Clint has a prosthetic arm, so apparently he lost his arm at some point, and things are just not going very well. And then of course we get the Watcher explaining like, oh, in your universe, Vision went on to be a hero, but in this one, Ultron succeeded in taking over his body. So then he actually kills the Avengers. Vision / Ultron kills the Avengers here. And also speaking of Ultron, as for the Voice of Ultron, this is something I was talking about yesterday in my video of like, you know, here's a sneak peek of tomorrow's episode, was who's going to do the Voice of Ultron. Now, of course, there was the possibility it could have been Paul Bettany because, of course, he plays Vision, so they could have done that. But no, we do have an actual Ultron voice here. Unfortunately, it's not James Spader like it was in Avengers Age of Ultron. I believe is the same actor that did the Voice of Ultron in the recent Avengers Assemble cartoon. So that's who I think it is. Honestly, did a pretty good job. I like the way Ultron sounded here. But on top of killing the Avengers, except for Clint and Nat, he kills Thanos as well. So Thanos pops up out of nowhere. He arrives through a portal. And this is something I was like a little confused about. Like, how does he have all the Infinity Stones? Because, of course, at this point in time in our main MCU timeline, he didn't have any of the Infinity Stones. Like, at all. But apparently in this one, he has all 5 of them. Or, well, all 6 minus the Mind Stone. Because that's what Vision has. And I love this moment. This was probably my favorite moment of the episode. Is as soon as Thanos steps out of that portal, Vision just kills him instantly. And this really shows you how powerful of a character Vision really is. Because I've always loved Vision. But one thing I've hated about his character in the MCU is how depowered he is. Because you look at things like, for example, Avengers Infinity War. He could have taken down Thanos and his army in seconds. That's why they had to have him injured for that movie, so that he wouldn't be able to do that. And this really goes to show you that that is the case. He is such a powerful character, and you know, he is currently dead in the MCU, but whether it's with White Vision or Color Vision coming back at some point, I really do hope that we get to see this super ultra powerful version of Ultron at some point in the future in live action once again. But anyway, like I said, he kills Thanos in seconds. He takes the Infinity Stones and becomes Ultra Vision. And then he just goes across, basically accomplishing his goal of taking over and destroying the universe. He destroys Asgard, the Sovereign, Sakaar, Ego, Xandar. We even get Captain Marvel showing up to try and save the day and fight back against Ultra Vision. But even she's destroyed. And Ultra Vision just succeeds in his goal. He destroys the universe. And you see this bit of almost loneliness within him, which I thought was a pretty cool moment. But then all of a sudden he sees the Watcher, which was pretty crazy too, because the only other person that's been able to do that so far is Doctor Strange. And that's because of his immense amount of power. And now Ultron can see the Watcher as well. So then he starts to crave not only the power of this one universe, but multiple universes. The power of the multiverse. So the Watcher's starting to freak out here, and he realizes that he has to intervene. So at first he just does a little hint of it, where he goes to find Natasha and Clint on Earth, and they're looking for a file that they need, and he nudges them a little bit so that they're able to find their file. But then when we see the Watcher back in his wherever he actually is this whole time, turns out Ultron has found him. So then we get this really cool battle between those two. Meanwhile, Nat and Clint are able to get the help of Arnim Zola, and they do another battle against some Ultron sentries. I love how she wields the shield of Red Guardian from, of course, the Black Widow movie. That was pretty cool to see. And we also get the death of Clint Barton, which I thought was pretty cool because it was a nice parallel to Avengers Endgame. It's basically the reverse Avengers Endgame, where, of course, in that movie, Clint was holding on to Natasha, hanging off the cliff, and he had to let her go and fall to her death. But this time it's the opposite. Natasha is holding on to Clint, hanging off the cliff, and has to let him fall to his death. So that was pretty cool. Like I said, nice parallel and basically reverse Avengers Endgame. I did like seeing that there. But then we get this crazy ending to the episode because you get Uatu the Watcher doing a cool power-up move, and he is battling Ultravision with the power of the Infinity Stones as this crazy multiverse battle because they're going through universe, and it's just insane here. And then by the end of it, the Watcher is just overpowered, so he eventually retreats, and then we see him pop up in the final scene here. He pops up in that little astral prison that Doctor Strange Supreme created all the way back in episode 4, I think it was. And that's where he officially decides the Uatu the Watcher, he has to interfere, and he asks Doctor Strange Supreme for help, which of course is setting up for next week's episode with the Guardians of the Multiverse, because now you have this super threat out there with Ultravision, with the power of the Infinity Stones, hopping across multiverse, just destroying everything in its path. And now the Watchers assembling a team. All these characters we've been introduced to so far in this season are going to come together as the Guardians of the Multiverse. We're getting, of course, as you saw here, Doctor Strange Supreme. We're getting Party Thor, who we were introduced to last week's episode, and we see how Ultravision actually shows up in his universe. We're getting Captain Carter from the first episode. We're getting the T'Challa Star-Lord. We're getting Eric Killmonger. We're getting also the Black Widow from this episode. That is the post-apocalyptic Age of Ultron Black Widow. We're getting the Gamora, the Mad Titan Gamora, who we never actually got to see in this season because we know that one episode from the season was delayed into season 2, so I'm thinking that is the episode. So we're not going to see her origins until next season, but she is going to be appearing here as a part of the Guardians of the Multiverse. And yeah, it is just going to be this crazy Guardians of the Multiverse team, and they are going to be going up against and battling Ultravision, which I'm so excited to see. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Marvel What If Episode 8? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, and predictions for the season finale of Marvel What If Season 1. And of course, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.